All right, so I sat down. Actually, sitting down happened. Putting up the video and the light happened. And putting on some music started. And then some breathing happened. And then some movement happened. I wasn't expecting any of that. So in other words, I just made, or a video was just made of just a short way to release some tension from the day. I wasn't expecting that at all, but maybe somebody needs that. So what I felt was that something was coming up in me to share, and I guess that was it. And let's see if there's anything else to share. Because what I felt mostly recently is the call to silence. Silence and stillness. It's a place where everything moves. It's from there that everything moves. It's from silence that we get sound. It's from stillness that movement happens. And that stillness is actually still movement. My mind doesn't think so. It's funny what the mind says. It is funny when it's not sad. When I mean sad, when it doesn't feel like a crisis and, has you crying and feeling like you're fighting with yourself. Otherwise, it can be kind of funny when you can get some space to look at it. It's just a loop. Mine is just a loop. It's just the same thing over and over. Yeah, it really is the same thing over and over. And when my body does move to do anything, whatever it is, my mind is so happy because there's something that's happening. It's like it just wants something to happen. It just wants there to be progress, right? My personality sun in 35, the gate of progress, change. It wants there to be a change. It wants there to be some kind of experience that we move through and get to somewhere. It doesn't care. It doesn't really care where. It makes up stories about where we need to get to. And if we do this and this and this and this and this, then we'll get to na. But it can make it up in another way and then in another way. So, but it always is the same kind of loop-de-loop of basically, Abith, you got to be what you're not so that we can get where we need to go. That's the basic gist of it. Yeah. And so I was laughing today when, because there are not many days where my body gets out of bed right away. Just doesn't happen. I'm not a generator. And I don't know what it's like for all generators, but generators, if you use your energy well, if a generator uses their energy well, it regenerates. Then they've got more to use. So if they've used their energy in a satisfactory way, and I have a sense of what that is because I have days where I'm like, wow, I'm like a generator doing stuff, and then I just feel like, oh, I'm so satisfied. So I can imagine what that must be like, or what it could be like. I don't know for sure, but and that's a good feeling, like, I did that. Actually, that happened. That got done. I mean, if we just look at it in the reality, but there's a sense of like, oh, yeah. And then that just kind of regenerates energy because it's just been used well, that it's just satisfied, And so if a generator is satisfied, They go to bed satisfied, they wake up regenerated. I know that's not so many generators in the world go to bed satisfied. From the sense that I get, I feel mostly their frustration. But I throw out my bitterness, so there you go. Tit for tat. But all that to say that for me, I get up in the morning and I wake up, and then I don't just get up. My body it's not interested in getting up and getting to do anything. It's like lying there, feeling what the day feels like, feeling what the energy feels like. And it can be hours. If I don't have a class or something in the morning that's being taught, my body will lie there most days. And that's when my mind goes duck, 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 and goes into its deep pockets to bring out the big guns. Duck, 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 duck. This is, all the stuff it throws at me. We need to take care of that, and you should be doing that, because if you don't do that, then you could get in trouble for this, and because that, blah, blah, and that person will come after you because that isn't taken care of, and I mean, and it's the same discourse every day. The minute that that the mind sees that there's not movement happening, come on, then it starts the loop. And I laughed today because when my body eventually got up, it was like, now I'm ready to do some things. And I watched myself get up. I watched myself, start preparing to do a workout, some exercise. Oh my mind was so happy. It kind of, and then I realized, like, you know what? My mind doesn't actually care what I do as long as I'm doing. As long as I am trying to be generative or manifestive, as long as I'm trying to be a manifester or a generator or a manifesting generator, that would be the best of the bunch, right? The most magical. Then my mind's okay. Well, no, it's okay until then it finds a problem with that, and then but I just laughed at myself. I just laughed at the whole situation. It was like I could see like the duck 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 got really quiet as soon as I got up and was going to work out. And I wasn't doing any of the things that my mind told me I needed to do, but I was moving and doing something. And so then it was like, oh, we're progressing. Something's happening and we're going somewhere. It's funny. And the rhythm of life the true rhythm of life is so different for each being. We've constructed something so false. This mental construction of do's and don'ts and shoulds and shouldn'ts and how things work. It works like this. I mean, if you just think about it for a second, the calendar was invented tons and tons of times. How many calendars has humanity had? Tons of them. And they're different in different cultures, and they've been reset a number of times. So, I mean, just the calendar is something that's false. It's false. It's just false in the way that it's not organic. It's based on looking at something organic that, the sun goes up, the sun goes down, the movement, it's based on movement that we see, things that we feel, the energies that we feel that differentiate between morning, afternoon, evening, night, days, all seasons. Like, those are things we experience, yes. And then what we do is we take it all and put it into this box, and we say, now this is it. And on these specific days, you need to celebrate da 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 da. And on these specific days are the days that you need to enslave yourself to someone else to use your energy in a way that you may not even want to, so you can get some fake monopoly paper that's not even paper anymore, just some digits in a thing called an account. And that is what life means. And those are 5 days, 5 of those days that we drew in the calendar are for you to go get up at this time and to do, even if it's like not even stuff that's worth being done, but just as long as you're doing. And then if you're doing something for somebody else, so that then you can get a bunch of those digits, a bunch or some of them, put into this digital thing that says now you have stuff. And then you can use it to get things that are actually real, like food and, And then on this calendar, there are a couple of days where you can actually mostly live according to your own energy. Except that your family and things like that might put other shoulds and shouldn'ts and musts and must nots on you, so that even that time you might not be able to use your energy the way that the energy wants to be used. It's like, this is what we've constructed. This is what we've constructed. I sometimes watch the cats outside from my window, the cats out there. It's like, they have an organic life. They're in rest mode until they're in curiosity mode or hunting mode or mating mode or, whatever it is. The rest of life on Earth seems to just do its own natural thing. It doesn't seem like anything else needed to create a plan. Of course, we are living under the cross of planning, so this is what's happening. Well, it's slowly decaying, but for a non-motorized projector, it's like, I can't relate to any of it. Really, I can't really relate to any of it. There's no consistency in me to fit into that. So, been reflecting on, my mind is so fixated on those are the supposed tos. And so now it gets on me because I don't live like that. And less do I live like that. I mean, I've never truly lived like that because of the kinds of things that I've been drawn to and, have pulled me, the different invitations I've had in my life. But, before the last couple of years, I was more rigidly in a fixed rhythm, based on the pressures put on me from the responsibilities of, having people I was working with or who were working for me or, dependent on me for whatever. And now that that's gone, I'm more and more in my nature of just afloat. I float. It's like, there's very little of me that's here. That's what I feel. And my mind judges that so much. And my mind judges it because it's always been judged by those around me. So my mind learned really well. Good mind. It's a good learner. Just learned the wrong things. It learned the wrong things. And so, how much does your mind judge you for things that actually, it's others' judgment that now your mind has been imprinted with and has taken over, and it's like, okay, I got it now. I understand what I'm supposed to judge her for, or him. So I don't need you anymore. You can disappear because I'll continue the work of judging and pressuring and beating her up, And What if some of us are here to hold this frequency of, it doesn't have to be that way. So if I push myself to fit into what's been planned and imposed and permeated throughout our society, if I push myself to continue to hold to that, well, first of all, I don't know how my individual spirit wouldn't suffocate, but feels like some of us who don't fit into that are here to carry the energy and the frequency of something different, of a different possibility, of a different way that life can be lived, of a more organic, natural way that you live life, which is different for each one, which is completely unique and non-replicable because it is unique. Because down to the minutia of who you are, who I am, we are unique. We are unique. Unique is there's nothing else like you. There's nothing else like me. There never has been. There never will be. Unique. One. The only one. So how can anybody tell you how it's meant to be done? No one knows. And my mind doesn't know because it hasn't seen it yet. My mind is like a little child, you know. It is, it's like a child. It needs to learn. And who is the guru? It's the form. It's my body. The body is here to teach the mind what it is to be unique consciousness in form. The mind can't get there because the mind is homogenized. It's meant to be. It is the part of us that keeps this kind of tabs on the whole, you know, keeps in touch with everything that's out there. But the body, the form, the design, it's got its own, I don't want to say agenda, because for me, I don't feel it like an agenda because it's so spontaneously just being, interacting. And to embrace your uniqueness is to break the covenant. It's to break the covenant that we all silently agreed to as we grew up, that we would all be like society tells us to. More or less, but we would try to fit in and do what's kind of more or less supposed to. In insidious ways that even like you look at the freaky people, but freaky, I mean like the ones that stand out, more individual looking. Look closer. How many are truly individual? So much are just individual in the accepted way of being an individual, you know? But to truly be unique is like you break the covenant with all of it. Like there is no one who can tell you how anything is meant to be done or lived, because no one has that information besides your design. And it's something that happens in this interactive field we live in. So there's not, you can't know beforehand. You might get some inklings depending on what your inner authority is and how it works. You might get some sense about it. But life is something that you watch emerge, that you watch moving, happening. There are days that feels, like it fits you like a glove, as they say. You put it on, it just fits so perfect. Like, I'm seeing my life. And there are days where it's where you see the bloody battle with the mind's resistance, all the fight it puts up, because the mind is homogenized, and so it's full of what everybody else has always told you from the time that you were born, of what life is supposed to be and who you are supposed to be and how you were meant to behave and be in the world and move and interact. And I mean, small things, they seem small, but they're big. They really watch your mind for a few minutes. It doesn't take very long. Watch what it tells you. Ask yourself, whose voice is that really? Where did I hear that? Is that really me? Or is that something that got planted in my head from somewhere else? Does it really matter what I'm thinking about? Does it really matter to my life right now? How much of what I'm thinking about right now is actually what's going on? That's a good one. I don't have answers. I don't know. That's why I sit in silence more and more. At least I think that's why.